My name's Aaron Kyro. I'm a sponsored skateboarder from the San Francisco Bay Area, and today we're gonna teach you about the different shapes of skateboards. So where do we want to start with this?
You want to start with like the most popular street skateboard shape?
Let's start with, this is Mike Osterman, world champion freestyler, and
Yuta Fuji.
Yuta Fuji.
Yuta Fuji, world champion freestyler.
Thank you.
Hi.
Hi.
Okay, so I guess we'll start with maybe the most common skateboard at this moment in time.
I think that's a great way to start. The average popsicle stick skateboard, right? Or what do you call it?
Yeah, popsicle stick skateboard. What do we call it? We just literally call it a skateboard.
Yeah.
Like for like just a regular, man, I don't know how to say. Okay, so freestyle is a very specific style of skateboarding. It's a very specific, maybe you can go into the history a little bit.
Yeah, so freestyle skateboarding is the earliest form of skating.
Very earliest. So I just want to make that point very clear. Sorry to cut you off, but it's the very earliest. That's where it started. Okay, go ahead.
Oh man, there's so much to talk about. But freestyle skateboarding is all about being creative with just your skateboard and with flat ground.
Right.
You're making the skateboard the obstacle. That's like the easiest way to put it.
So not using rails or ledges or stairs, you're just on the flat ground and the skateboard is the obstacle. So then over time, it sort of evolved into these various different shapes. So this right now currently is probably your most common shape. We call it popsicle. It has a very similar tail and a very similar nose, and it's pretty straightforward. Usually, if you're just going, I'm learning how to skateboard, not necessarily freestyle skateboard or anything like that, you're gonna jump on a board like this. Now, in the, I guess, man, I'm gonna mess this up, but I wanna say in the 80s, the boards looked more like this. And these are making like a strong comeback right now. We call them shaped boards. You can see the nose on this board is way different than the tail. Huge wide tail, small little nose, and people would be shredding the vert ramps with these.
Yeah, it's specialized, really. Very specialized for the type of skating people were doing in the 1980s.
Right.
Just like the shape you were holding a minute ago is specialized for skating a lot of parks and doing specific tricks that you do.
Yep. That's right. So then we're going to get into these skateboards, which are the freestyle skateboards, which are a lot different. Well, I don't want to say a lot different. This one kind of is similar to a popsicle, but it has like a more rounded tail, more rounded nose, and then you'll notice grip tape on this side and grip tape on this side. And you have these little, what do you call that? I would call this a tail stop.
Skid plate.
Skid plate! Yeah. Of course, there's a very specific name. Okay, so I think at this point, we just kind of compare, and I'll turn this over to you, you can kind of explain. We have 3 different freestyle shapes here, and we'll go over them, and what makes each one different, why it's that way, and how it's different from these guys here.
And there's so much, so I'm gonna try to be as concise and brief about it as possible. So we talked about how the skateboards in the 80s were specialized for vert skating.
Yeah.
And for specific tricks that vert skaters were doing.
Right.
Freestyle, since it's a really old style of skateboarding, it's been evolving all these years. And there's a lot of different ways you can freestyle. Some people do more ollie tricks and flat ground tricks, like Yuta here. Some people do more stationary, traditional tricks like me.
Oh, really?
Do a lot of
so your style of freestyle is different than his style of freestyle?
Yeah, a little bit.
Really?
Every single person's is different. And that's actually like my favorite part of it, is that everyone skates a little different.
Yeah.
And we all ride different boards that are specialized for the type of skating that we do.
Wow.
So this here is sort of like middle of the road.
Okay.
It's not quite super traditional, like what I ride. It's got double kicks, so it's got a upturned tail and an upturned nose. We call that double kick.
Yeah.
First try.
It's a little bit smaller than your average street skateboard, but it still has quite a long tail and nose.
So explain a little bit smaller. Do you know what the wheelbase of this is here?
This one has a wheelbase of 13.25.
13.25. So just to give you a comparison, I do not know exactly what this wheelbase is, but I believe they're around 14.25. So does that look about an inch difference? Probably, eh?
About like an inch, yeah.
And when we talk about wheelbase, you'll hear this in skateboarding a lot. It's literally the measurement from right here, the inside, to the inside, right there. But this is very, like Mike said, specialized.
For freestyle, you want a board that can spin faster, that can flip easier, and that's better for footwork. And for that, I personally like having a smaller wheelbase.
Yeah.
About 13 and a quarter or under.
Is this big in freestyle?
This is huge for freestyle.
Huge?
Yeah.
Really?
Freestyle boards run anywhere from, 11.5 inches to 13.5 inches.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because watching like very early freestyle videos, some of the boards are literally so small, you can almost like put your foot and it's like, that's the board, right?
Yeah.
So it's super interesting.
So this is one board. It's also asymmetrical, which is an important thing to understand.
Asymmetrical meaning same nose as tail.
It means it has a different shaped tail and nose.
Different?
Yeah, so the nose is slightly different from the tail.
Okay, I was gonna say, I thought it was different.
A lot of boards these days, even street skateboards, are twins, people call them, or symmetrical boards. That's really popular in street skateboarding right now. In freestyle, we offer boards that are asymmetrical or symmetrical. It all depends on what you like.
Yeah, so let's compare that to this. So this also has a nose, clearly, and a tail, but this one is not double kick, right? This just ever so slightly has a little, you just tried to like swing it in there, just a little bit.
So it provides a lot of comfort for tricks like pogos and Caspers. I've made videos in the past about this to kind of get more into the weeds, but to put it simply, it just feels really good when you're pogoing and Caspering.
If you don't know what a pogo or a Casper is, a pogo is when you're jumping like this, and then a Casper is when you're like this. So that's a Casper, that's a pogo, and this board is a wild shape.
It's perfect for those, but it still has the rigidity. A lot of those boards from the 80s that were tiny and flat were really kind of easy to warp and flex.
Yeah.
And they also didn't provide very big platforms for your feet. Because you have concave on this board, it's more rigid.
You have concave on this board? I was gonna say, where's the concave, Mike?
It's tiny
flat
concave.
as a board, Mike.
I'm the worst person to have in this video because I could talk for like so many days about all of these things.
That's okay.
Yeah, it's got a little bit of concave and it's tub concave. So it actually has a flat
You gotta
section in the center.
What does that mean, tub concave? You gotta explain, because those people out there, they do not know. If I don't know what tub concave is, man, lay it on us.
If you're a freestyle nerd like me, you're loving this right now. So a tub concave means that you have a flat section that runs through the center of the board. Usually, like on your street skateboard, you have radial concave, which means that there's an arc.
Well, yeah, I knew it was like that on a normal skateboard like this, but I didn't know about tub concave. Oh, Gabe Cruz know about tub concave? Come at me, bro. Come at me. Yeah, right.
So radial concave is awesome. Tub concave is especially nice for freestyle because you have a flat section in the center of the board.
Why is that good?
Because we do a lot of dancing and shuffling.
Dancing. If you don't know what dancing is, it's like this.
We can all dance here. We're all really great dancers. Dancing's great, but it can be tough when you're on a board that has steep concave. Having tub concave allows you to have a section in the center that you can easily shuffle your feet across, but it still has the rigidity of these concave walls.
Okay. And that helps with some flip tricks, maybe even like rail tricks, which is where you're landing like that. Helps a little bit like that.
It also doesn't feel like the board's convex, which when you have a completely flat board, eventually it starts to feel like it actually curves the opposite way.
Yeah.
And that's not fun.
Actually, that's a great idea. I just had a good idea. All right, Paul Schmidt, I hope you're watching this. I'm gonna be hitting you up soon. Okay, let's compare Utah's skateboard here.
So I talked about how this board is asymmetrical and double kick. Utah's board is super special because it is fully symmetrical.
Oh, it is?
It is. It's a perfect twin.
It is. Interesting. So has there ever been a perfect twin freestyle skateboard before? Must have.
Yeah, there's definitely been some, but this one is tuned like specifically to him and to his skating.
Tell me everything.
What do you like about the board?
Utah is from Japan, and his English is excellent. Leave it in the comments below. Yeah.
He's learning a lot.
Yeah. This skateboard has two double kicks.
Yes.
It's different from Michael's stick. Tail and nose is same shape, and it has a little concave.
Just a little bit of concave. So is this one radial concave or tub concave?
This one's radial concave.
Radial concave? So he's basically a street skater. That's what I'm saying. His kickflips are so, like, Utah is very interesting to watch because he steps on his board and he does like this perfect like kickflip. And if you didn't know he was a freestyle skateboarder, you wouldn't know.
It's so good. Like, he has a board that is perfectly tuned to his skating.
Yeah, that's what I want to know about. Like, what does that mean exactly? For people out there that are going, maybe I should get a board that's perfectly tuned to my skating. And they go, oh, I would like to do these types of tricks. How would they even know?
Well, the best way to think about it is who do you like watching skate? And whose skating do you want to emulate? If you like doing more ollie tricks, if you want to do more shove-its and footwork, and more of the rolling tricks like Utah does, his board is perfect for you. If you want to do more traditional freestyle tricks where you are stationary, you're pogoing, you're doing Caspers, maybe you're watching a lot more old school freestyle, like you, and you ride a spoon nose sometimes. Last time we skated, you rode a
spoon nose. What is a spoon nose?
This is a spoon nose.
Yeah. Okay. It's so interesting because when I skate a board like this, right? Just your classic popsicle stick. I also am very picky on my shape. I like a tail that sort of tapers off and a nose that's really wide. That's what I like, because various tricks that I do, it just helps with that. But then when I skate freestyle, I sort of like went towards going towards this because I'm like, it's kind of similar to the popsicle, but not totally. But then when Mike brought out one of these, I was like, no, this is the ticket. Like if I'm going freestyle, I'm going full Monty, you know? This is one kick and then boom. And then I feel like certain tricks were way easier on this. I think also is what you're saying, this wheelbase is shorter, which made some tricks easier. Like we filmed a video today where I learned this, spoiler alert. It's called an underflip. And that was much easier on this. I don't think I could have done that on that. Mike does more pogo sticks and Caspers. And then Yuta does more like shove it tricks, like explain the style a little bit.
Yeah, what kind of tricks do you like to do, Yuta?
Truck stand.
Truck stands.
Truck stands, which is like, I can't think of anything that could be more difficult, actually. So that's the difference between these boards, and we can show them side by side. Even this one is even shorter than that one. So what's the wheelbase on Yuta's?
So Yuta's is gonna be available in 2 wheelbases. It's gonna be available in 13.2 inches and in 12.75 inches.
I love how much like thought goes behind this. That they didn't do 13.25, they went 13.2.
So here's the thing, you go out and skate and you have how many obstacles to skate? You could skate the rail for the day, you could skate a quarter pipe, you could skate anything. In freestyle, the board's the obstacle.
The board is the obstacle.
We wanted to offer as many different obstacles as possible.
Oh, really?
So you can skate one day maybe the double kick asymmetrical board, the big speed. Or if you are tired of skating that, maybe you'll set up the Huntington, which is the spoon nose.
Yeah.
Maybe one day you want to learn ollie kickflips. You pick up the Yuta. The idea is to offer as many options as possible. So depending on what you want to specialize in, you can choose a board that suits your skating rather than trying to force it on a board that does nothing for the tricks you're trying to learn, like this. That is if you're trying to freestyle.
So you're saying we can't freestyle on this?
You can, but it's going to be fighting against you.
Ooh.
It's going to be a struggle.
Maybe that's a good video. Yuta versus the hardest board to skate freestyle on. Okay, I just want to point out, because I've been seeing some messages recently, you know, my purpose is to get as many new people into skateboarding as possible. And I've been seeing some good messages of people like saying, you know, I'm in my 40s and I just wanted to learn how to skateboard and I picked up one of these. And then I found Mike Osterman through Braille, and then I decided, you know, maybe I would do freestyle, and that might be like better for me in my, I don't know what I want to call it, age bracket. So I think I'm gonna move to freestyle as well as a 38-year-old skater and, you know, get some freestyle under my belt. But so my question is, because normally I would just say, yeah, there's certain tricks you want to learn. You can learn the pushing and get really comfortable with that. You guys have heard me say that 1,000 times. Learn shove-its, learn ollies. But if you were doing freestyle, like, where do you start?
Honestly, I think Yuta's board is the best start.
Really?
Yuta's 13.2-inch wheelbase, it's the simplest board to learn on because it's symmetrical, so you're not thinking about which direction the board's pointing. It's not huge.
Right.
It's only 13.2 in the wheelbase, and then it's 7.75. So if you're an older skater and you're getting used to riding on a board again, having a wider platform under your feet will be easier to learn footwork and a lot of the basics on.
And when he says footwork, he means all those like shuffling he does, the board's flying around underneath your feet, and you think, what are they doing? They're dancing. That's what they're doing.
It's the best. It's the most.
Keep dancing, family.
Keep dancing. Oh my God. I'm gonna cry. Thank you.
All right, so I'm really excited to make this video. I know you guys probably have 5 million questions. Please leave them in the comments below. I will go through your questions and I will answer them as best I can, or somebody will. And maybe we'll say, I don't know the answer to that question. Let me ask Mike. But we do our best to help you guys because the whole purpose of all of this is to get more new people into skateboarding. And that means all kinds of skateboarding, which means all kinds of skateboards. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If this video is coming out when Yuta's board is available, you can get it on the website, which is in the description below, from Waltz Skateboarding, care of Mr. Mike Osterman. Right there, first try. There you go. So I hope you guys enjoyed that, and I hope you got some questions answered. And if you're moving into freestyle skateboarding, May God have mercy on your soul.
And we're here to help.
Mike's evil laugh right there was the best. No, it's good, it's good. It's a good place to start. But yeah, you have to learn the correct tricks in the correct way, and there's a very good sequence, I'm sure, to work that out. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Check out all those other videos right there. Subscribe, like, leave a comment below, and you, yes you, learn to ride a skateboard. If you're watching this and you're not starting to learn yet, get a board and get going. It's time. We got everything you need. You know what to do.